Hi everyone.
Hello.
Today we'll learn about specially designated sake. TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU. This is an important topic. So let me start with an introduction. TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU is a legal classification system of premium sake. It makes up about 30% of Japan's total sake production. Let's look at this table together. You can see it's classified into 8 types according to the polishing ratio of the rice, ingredients, and production methods. Towards the right of this table, the sake tends to become more premium priced. These types are often referred to as grades. Bear in mind that the grades do not reflect the level of quality, but rather the cost of production, time, and effort in making sake. The truth is, all 8 types have their own style and charm, reflecting the terroir and craftsmanship of each brewer. The most expensive sake does not necessarily mean it's the most delicious one. In the end, it comes down to your customer's individual tastes and preferences. Now, without further ado, let's dive into the topic, specially designated sake, TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU. You all know by now what sake is made of, right?
Rice and water.
That's right. But as explained earlier today, there are different kinds of sake.
Is there anything else in sake other than rice and water?
Yes, that's what we're going to learn today.
Yes.
So let's start by looking at the typical styles of sake. Have a look at this.
It's hard to read.
Yes, sake has its origin in Japan, and most information is in Japanese. It's hard, but let's practice how to read them together.
Yes.
First, let's look at the basics. TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU, the premium sake category, can be separated into 2 subcategories. The first subcategory is junmai. By now, you should all know that junmai is made from only rice and water.
This is what we usually think of as sake.
That's right.
The other subcategory is hanjozo.
This is made with rice, water, and distilled alcohol called jozo alcohol in Japanese.
Jozo alcohol?
That's right. Jozo alcohol is pure distilled alcohol added during the brewing process. It is one of the essential techniques for making fragrant sake with a crisp finish. This also increases its shelf life. There are many other benefits of adding jozo alcohol, but for now, let's remember that rice, water, and pure distilled alcohol make up the hanjozo style.
Okay.
The difference between the 2 subcategories, junmai and hanjozo, is the presence or absence of distilled alcohol.
Exactly. Now let's move on to the next step. So you understand that both subcategories use rice as their main ingredient, right? Well, rice has a lot of nutrients such as proteins and lipids on the surface. These nutrients are what give sake a rough and unpleasant flavor called zatsumi. That's why sake rice has its surface polished off.
Does zatsumi mean it doesn't taste good?
No, not necessarily. Take wine, as an example. Do you know the difference between red wine and white wine?
I think red wine ferments with the grape skins, seeds and juice combined, while white wine only ferments its juice.
Yes, but they each have their own taste, don't they?
Yes, they are both delicious in their own way.
Likewise, the taste of sake also changes depending on how much the rice surface is polished off. The more polished the rice, the more time and effort it takes to make the sake. The sake becomes more refined, but the price also gets more expensive. Again, although TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU is a grading system according to the polishing ratio, it does not necessarily reflect the quality grades of sake.
That's what we're learning here, isn't it?
That's right. Let's look at the 8 types one by one. The first 2 are hanjozo and junmai. The same terms were also used earlier to represent the subcategories of TOKUTEI MEISHO SHU, differentiated by whether or not pure distilled alcohol is added to the sake. To name a sake, hanjozo, the rice must be polished to at least 70% of its original size. The polishing ratio is called seimai buai. Seimai buai of 70% means the rice has been polished with 70% or less of the grain remaining. For junmai ginjo, tokubetsu junmai, and tokubetsu hanjozo, the rice must be polished with 60% or less remaining of its original size. To name a sake, junmai daiginjo, or daiginjo, the rice must be polished down to 50% or less of its original size.
They all sound similar.
Here's a small tip. The word junmai means pure rice. So, if the name is prefixed with junmai, it's a junmai subcategory of sake made only from rice and water. If it isn't labeled junmai, it'll include distilled alcohol and be the hanjozo subcategory.
I see. I think I got it.
The aroma and flavor characteristics of these 8 types are explained in another video. So please watch that too.
Yes.